Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with another Magic React. That's right, this time he has made a video, who has the strongest hand cannon? And of course, go subscribe to this guy right fucking now. IamMagic on YouTube, he's making great content. And apparently Corvinus has intervened, if you will, and helped him out with this video. I don't know to what extent, but we're about to find out who has the best hand cannons. Tier list, let's see if I agree with it or not. You guys know me. If I disagree, I'll speak up.
Hey everyone. So a lot of you have asked for it, so here it is. This is a tier list on the best hand cannons in Age of Empires 4. Now the hand cannon to me is a do-it-all type of unit. It's the one unit that does well versus everything. However, it's also an extremely expensive unit, costing gold during a time in which gold is most scarce. So let's get started and discuss what is truly the mightiest hand cannon in Age of Empires 4. Alright, so when you think of a hand cannon, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Is it the range? Probably not. Is it the speed? Definitely not. The first thing that goes through my mind when I see a hand cannon is damage. Raw, unfiltered damage. Being able to melt entire enemy lines in seconds. It doesn't matter if they're fighting a knight or if they're fighting a spearman. The hand cannon can annihilate whatever stands in its path. So it's clear there's one thing we're looking for, and that's damage. But what comes next? Well, the next thing that stands out to me is cost. This is a crazy expensive unit, and since it's so expensive, the more we can afford, the better our armies will be.
Right.
Now here's the conundrum. How can you consider the cost of the unit but not the economic bonuses of a civilization? Now this is where lines start being drawn. This is not a perfect...
This is the one thing that I mentioned about previous two Magic's videos, that the fact that he did not include or consider the eco bonuses of the civilization in the previous tier list. If you guys remember, that's the one thing I did mind, but it looks like in this video he is considering that, which is good.
Science, and you would definitely need to take these thoughts with a heavy grain of salt. Do not consider this a Bible, but rather notes on parchment to compile and consider within the framework of your own gameplay and your own understanding. We have damage, and we have costs. Well, what's left? Well, the rest are factors like range, speed, armor, but these are all personal in my opinion. It depends a lot on the way you play, but me personally, if I was to choose after damage, I would definitely take range next. So damage is important, cost is important, range is important. I think that's what we need to start this comparison, so let's just get started.
Let's just jump into it, baby. Show me what you got.
These are the 5 main hand cannons in the game. You do have the Ozutsu from the Japan, but I'm gonna omit that for the time being because it's a little bit different.
No, they're not.
But these are the 5 main ones. Now you can see that they have differing stats, right? The gilded hand cannon here serves as 2. Hand cannon here, this is shared amongst most of the civilizations in Age of Empires 4. Then you have the Janissary for the Ottomans. You have the Musafari gunner.
Is there
for
only
the
5 unique ones?
And you have the Streltsy for Rus, right? And these are your main hand cannons.
So there's more.
Now where do they fall as different? Well, if you take the hand cannoneer as the standard unit, the main difference between them would be the gilded hand cannon has a little bit more range at 4.5, and it also has a little bit more DPS, because technically if you were to look at it from a pop-on-pop perspective, it has 18.3 versus 17.92. So it has slightly more DPS, slightly more range. So in that sense, it's a little bit different than the regular hand cannon. And I would say technically, yes, it's better. Then you have the Janissary. Now, the Janissary is very interesting because it's a hand cannon with good damage per second, but it's also anti-cavalry, which is huge. And especially in this meta where cavalry units are so strong and cavalry units are used so frequently, this is an insane little bonus to have on top of your hand cannon, right? The difference here,
especially if the units are not attacking,
is it does suffer a little.
No, I'm just joking.
A little bit in terms of overall damage per second, and it does suffer in terms of range. That's 3.5, whereas the other ones generally have 4, right? It can also repair siege weapons, but it does take a little bit additional damage from archers. So that's the Ottoman one. And then next up you have the Malian Musafati gunner. Now, the Malian Musafati gunner is an interesting one because it has the highest damage per second out of all of these. If you're just considering the base form, guys, we're not looking at any special text or anything like that. Highest damage per second per pop. It's also a unit that
Yeah, but spotty gunners are crazy.
The only downside is a little bit more expensive in terms of its gold cost. It's 130, whereas these ones are 120. Now the Janissary is a lot cheaper in terms of gold at 100, but the cheapest of them all is the Streltsy. The Streltsy is 90 food, 90 gold. The cheapest hand cannon here.
I'm gonna be honest. The most OP, in my opinion, is probably Streltsy. Streltsy just kills everything. I mean, we'll see how he bases it off, but Streltsy kills every melee and every cavalry unit. Like, and they're cheap, which is like not by a little, by 30 gold, which is like crazy. And they have melee attack.
If you just factor in just the cost of the unit itself. And then on top of that, it has amazing damage per second. Especially when you look at the most important category of them all, in my opinion, is damage per cost, right? DPS per cost. The Streltsy just wipes the floor with the rest of these, right? So it's 9.96. Whereas if you
see, he now added DPS per cost. This is what the other previous two videos missed, IMO. But including, because it was like per civ, including civilization bonuses. Does that make sense?
You look at the second highest up here, which is the Elite Janissary, it's 8.33. So the Streltsy is insane in that regard. And if that wasn't enough, it has a passive 30% extra attack speed if it's stationary for 10 seconds. So there's a huge change right here. It also has a really good hand-to-hand combat stat, which is 30 DPS there. So it's an insane unit. If all of these units were normalized in terms of its cost, you would be able to afford 8 Streltsy compared to 6 hand cannons, and 8 Streltsy compared to 6 Musafati gunners. Janissaries would be able to pop out an extra one over the Streltsy. But look at this column right here. You can see that if you were to normalize on cost, the Streltsy...
Yeah, but another thing is you can pop 9 Janissary, but they cost more gold than 8 Streltsy. That's the thing. They cost less food, right?
Would be able to output 143 damage per second. And the second highest is the Janissary at 120. So let's go to our tier list here. Let's assume that the regular, this is not the Abbasid one, guys, don't get it twisted, but this is a regular hand cannon.
That's an Abbasid hand cannon.
Regular hand cannon is base. The best, in my opinion, by far, is the Streltsy at the very top of the list. Now, Gilded hand cannon, as we did talk about, the Gilded hand cannon is slightly better than the regular hand cannon. Let's go a step further. Let's just go here into my comparison tab, and you can see that these are like just generally analysis categories: total damage, total DPS, etc., etc. The hand cannon here has more damage per cost, but the Gilded hand cannon has lower attack speed. So as a result, it's able to actually dish out more DPS, right? So the Gilded hand cannon wins here. The hand cannon here has a little bit more HP, but the Gilded hand cannon has more range. And in terms of gold cost, is the same. Total armor is the same. Speed, it's the same. So a little bit more DPS, a little bit more range. I think
one thing about Gilded hand cannons is you need less space with same cost of Guild hand cannons versus hand cannoneers to hit the enemy units, right? It doesn't have to be too spread out. So it's also harder to surround Gilded hand cannoneers because we're not to surround them, but do you know what I mean in combat? So that can be better, but it can also be worse depending on what the situation is, right? At the same time, Gilded hand cannoneers are very commonly used with prelates inspired warriors, which further buffs their DPS and damage by a fuck ton. Yeah, those are the things that's like hard to calculate in, and you shouldn't always calculate in that you're gonna have a prelate buff.
I'll take the Gilded hand cannon over the regular hand cannon.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Musafati Gunner, I told you guys already, I love the fact that it's by far the most DPS if you just consider base stats in terms of...
Wait, he didn't put Chinese hand cannoneer separately?
Population, right? You got 19.34 here. I love this stat, right? And I told you guys at the beginning that it's all about damage when it comes to hand cannon. So I'm going to put the Musafati Gunner higher up. And now the Janissary is a little bit interesting because the Janissary, as I said, has a little bit less range, a little bit less damage per second. But in terms of actual damage per cost, I think it's pretty much second place after the Streltsy. And I do
S
love
tier.
its anti-cavalry bonus, plus 13
S tier.
for cavalry. It's huge, right? Because especially you can protect your siege, you can protect a lot with just this unit alone, and you don't need to fear actually being on the map, right? So I'm going to give the Janissary a little bit of a lead over the dragon hand cannon here.
What?
You know, some might put this above the Musafati gunner as well.
I would put it S tier.
But personally, I think it's kind of like this right
now
here.
maybe
this is what I
would put it A+. A+.
think. But now this is not worth much because there's so many technologies and so many landmarks that we need to start considering. So let's just jump right into that now.
Okay.
All right, so let's get into the real tier list. Now we are going to omit the Yozutsu and we're going to omit the Black Rider. I think I'm going to do one special video on those ones if people are interested. But let's just get into the hand cannons. Now, I did say that I value cost, I value damage, I value range, but one of the other things that's important to look at is population space as well. In the Imperial Age, when you have all your upgrades and whatnot and you have a bank of resources, you want to make the most pop efficient units.
Right.
So if I bring up this chart right here, this is every single unit for all of the civilizations, all the hand cannons, with every single technology or landmark / passive that I could think of at the spot.
Okay, so what he's gonna do is I guess he's gonna do in the perfect environment kind of thing, where if you have all the buffs, which hand cannoneer is the best, which is a fine tier list to make, but it's like in theory, but reality is different.
Big shout out to the people that helped me. There was a lot of you, so I can't drop names all of a sudden, but a lot of you have helped me with this list, so thank you very much. But going back to this right here, we can see that some units like the Streltsy, while they are a lot cheaper at 180 resources, might not perform as well as, like, let's just say an Order of the Dragon hand cannon, which despite being more expensive, with Inspired Warriors, it's actually a lot more pop efficient than a Streltsy. Easier.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. Like, Gilded hand cannons with Inspired Warriors is fucking insane. So it's very, like, pop efficient, but then you have to make prelates. It's
For example, Japan with the Bannerman is probably more pop efficient than a Streltsy, because if we look at the Streltsy's stats right here, it does get a whopping 30% attack speed if stationary for 10 seconds. It does get Saint's Blessings, but these are things that are not always guaranteed or are given. Because if we start looking at this list, and let's say that we want to know which hand cannon has the most amount of damage, so I'm going to sort it by highest to lowest. You can see the Ayubid hand cannon actually has one of the highest damages in the game, but it's something that's very unlikely that you're going to get consistently, because it's based on a technology, Mamluk's Bravery. So you have to kill a unit to be given these stats. While it is absolutely amazing, it's not always guaranteed that you're going to get it. Right. So we have to take that into consideration as well. Now, while I do think pop is important, population efficiency of the units, I still think that DPS per cost is still my gold standard. I think this, just cost in general, is by far the most important thing in the game. So for that, I do think I'm going to put the Streltsy in the S tier. So if I were to scroll this down, and I'm going to go over here and move the Streltsy up. I think Streltsy is by far one of the best hand cannons in the game. I love the fact that it's cheaper on gold, cheaper on food, which is irrelevant at this point.
The melee attack is very underrated, by the way. This thing does 60 fucking damage. So a lot of people don't know this, but they have a melee attack, and until recently I didn't know it was 60 damage. Like, that's crazy.
It's just a nice little thing to have. It has great stats. It's 30% attack speed if stationary. Has great hand-to-hand combat as well, and you can use Saint's Blessing. And the coolest thing about the Streltsy is like a lot of these things that I'm going to be talking about, you need other things in conjunction with the hand cannon to make it valuable. For example, with Delhi, if you're going to go Zeal, you're going to need monks near you, or imams, right?
Yeah, Streltsy buffs itself.
You're going to need scholars near your hand cannons to be able to achieve that 50% attack speed, and they need to be healed at the same time. Whereas for Rus and Streltsy, you don't need to. It's a very low maintenance unit, and I love it for that reason. Okay, so Streltsy definitely at the top. Now Jeanne d'Arc. Jeanne d'Arc can get these out really cheap as well. If you look at the cost right here, you can get them out for 90.90, right? With Consecrate, and if you get the upgrade and the Blacksmith,
very realistic.
It's going to make the gold cost cheaper as well. So JD is excellent in this regard as well. And also JD can get you 20%, sorry, JD can give you attack speed increase for 20 seconds. So if you look at the attack speed, it can go down to 1.68, which is phenomenal in my opinion as well. So it's a very good unit overall. However, the attack speed lasts a certain amount of time. Consecrate rather, you're not most likely you're not going to be using it on your archery range, so it's not something that you really are going to be benefiting from as much as, let's say, French, which we'll talk about later. French, it's super easy. You put archery ranges around your keeps and you're going to get that cost reduction. JD, not so much, but I do love the fact that it has the attack speed on on the hero unit. So we're going to move JD. I personally, I think this one is going to go into the C tier. And then while we're talking about JD, just to make it easy, let's just talk about the French. So we talked about Rus, we talked about JT. I'm going to hide these cells right here. Let's talk about the French. Now the French can get enlistment incentives, which lower the cost. So you're going to get these at 90-90. But they don't have any really special text for their hand cannons in general. It's just a generic hand cannon. But the fact that it's super cheap, if you look at 90-90, you can get really high DPS per cost, which is not so much as good as, like, let's say a Streltsy, but still much better than if you look at some of the bottom tier ones right here. So, and for that regard, I'm going to put it a little on the C tier as well, but a little bit below JD in this regard.
Yeah, because JD has an activation.
And speaking of C tier, I'm going to hide the French again. I'm going to go to House of Lancaster here. Now, the House of Lancaster is also a vanilla hand cannon. It doesn't have any special text as far as I know or can tell. But it also, if you go to the landmark, you can get that technology, which makes it cheaper. So it's going to be 90 resources for food and 90 resources for gold. So it's the same price as a French one.
C tier.
But albeit this landmark is not really that used, right? Now, if you go for kings, you can get some extra HP stacking. But I feel like in the late game, you know, it's very easy to snipe target these guys down, right? So it's not going to benefit so much from it, but it is there. So I would also put this in the C tier, and I'm going to put this below the French.
Dude,
mostly
I'm
because
nailing
the landmark is not being used as much in the current meta, whereas the French enlistment incentives can be used almost every game.
See, Magic and I are now on the same wavelength because he's calculating in the cost.
And it's very easy to use. Byzantines don't have anything special, right? You can get a landmark which gives you the gulp, right? Which restores HP, but how often are people using that? I just don't think that it has anything really special going for it, and I think this is probably the worst hand cannon in the game. So I'm gonna move that out of the way. Abbasid, you can get two really good techs, make it a very sturdy hand cannon, which one is camel support, so you can get +2 armor. And then you can get boot camp, which is +15 HP. So it's probably one of the tankiest hand cannons per pop in the game. So where would I put it? I think I would put this a little bit higher up than these ones here. These ones are better in terms of cost.
Oh my god!
This one just has something special going for it in terms of its stats. And in the Imperial Age, while cost is, like I said, it's important, stats I think do play a very important role as well. So I'm going to move the Abbasid one a little bit higher up the list, and we're going to hide that. And now we're going to go to China. Now, China has probably one of the most famous hand cannons in the game because people love pyrotechnics, which can get you an extra 1.5 range. You can also get a dynasty with this, which is either 15% speed or 15% health, which also bolster its stats. Now, I don't think range is as huge as it is.
No, it's huge. It's huge. It's huge. It's huge.
About that tier list.
S tier.
It's still very.
He's gonna put it in A tier, but it's S tier.
Very valuable because this is not taking it up like 0.5 or 1. This is taking up 1.5. 1.5 is a gigantic number. And when you do these simulations and these fights and you test them out, the China hand cannon has so much utility because it can kill the opponent's front line and just wipe out a massive wave just before the fight even starts.
Bro, if you know anything about me, I don't even write a script for my videos. I don't even have a fucking script for any of my videos I made. You think I pre-watch other people's stuff to prepare to watch a video? That's crazy.
Which really helps you in these decisive engagements. Also, if, let's say, the fight's not going your way, you can kite much better with the China hand cannon than you can with all of these other ones, right? For that reason alone, I think the China
S
hand
tier.
cannon it deserves one of the top spots in the game. So I'm going to put it up here in the S category. We're going to get that out of the way. Now let's talk about the Malian ones. Now this one, I never really used it that much. I never really thought about it that much. But the more I looked into it when I was making this video, the more I fell in love with it. I actually think this is a really good hand cannon. It has really good base stats. So if you look at its attack,
A tier or S tier?
it's higher than most of the generic hand cannons, and you don't need anything special. It's just like that.
I think it's A tier.
Now on top of that, you can get stealth. And stealth, I think, is very valuable for hand cannons, especially in the late game. You know, you stealth out a bunch of your hand cannons, and you can just like appear out of nowhere and kill your opponent's army in like before you can even react. So I think it's really valuable in hand cannons. Also, you can go for the first strike, which doubles the damage. There's a landmark that you have to get for it. Also amazing. It can take this up to like 82 damage or something like that. So it's really good. Local knowledge, another great tech. It gives you healing as you attack once you're in
does
stealth,
that work?
or you come out of stealth, and you can get movement speed.
Wait, does that wait. Does that work with? I thought that's only for Musafaris. It should be also upgradable in archer range then.
Bonus with Farima leadership. So there's a lot of going.
I think they're very good, but range from China is just way better. Like A tier.
On for the Malian hand cannon. It's a very utility based unit with good damage overall. So I really like this unit. And it can go up to 1.44 speed with Farima leadership. So
1.4.
I'm putting this in the A tier for sure.
Oh my god!
Right, so that one's done.
Holy
now,
shit!
Japan,
Okay, now I'm like, am I gonna nail all of them? Holy shit!
Japan has the Ozutsu. I told you I'm not going to talk about it, but it also has a good regular.
Okay, now
hand
there's a lot of
cannon, too.
pressure.
Just because the Bannerman gives you an extra 15% damage, which is exceptional in my opinion. I think it's a really nice thing to have.
15%.
It can go up to 44 damage, and I think it's the one thing I like about this is it's so easy to actually get this, right?
Or A
you have
tier.
like
Fuck.
a couple of these nearby in a fight, and it just buffs your entire army. Whereas stuff like, for example, Inspired Warriors, you need to do a little bit of work to get it, right? Or the Mongols, you need to.
Wait, let me see what other ones are left. He cannot count the Bannerman. I mean, the thing is, how much damage does it go up to? 44.
Create the
I would say
Hunter
B
to get
tier.
a
I would
little bit
say
of
B
extra
tier.
range, or
He
you
might
need to use
put
the
it A
Con Zero.
tier, but
So
I think
you
it's
need to use
I think
a
it's
little
B
bit of
tier.
micromanagement to get the most out of some of these other hand
B
cannons.
tier.
Whereas with
You
Japan,
don't
just have a
always
Bannerman
have
nearby,
Bannerman.
and it's going to do very well. And just for the ease of use and I think the simplicity, I do like it. I'm not sure which one I prefer of these two. I do like the Musafati Gunner rather, because of its stealth capabilities. I think it's a really nice thing to have. Now this is going to go based on the units in my opinion, because if you look at the Musafati Gunner, which I did close, the Musafati Gunner and the Japanese one have similar rates of attack, right? But the Musafati Gunner doesn't need anything special to get this. It doesn't need a Bannerman.
Yeah,
it's even easier in that sense. And
the thing is, the thing is, if you're fighting armies, like, yeah, you're gonna have a Bannerman. But like when the games get chaotic, you're not gonna always have a Bannerman. But he is including all the buffs, to be fair. So that's why I said he might put it in A tier, but I think it's B tier. So technically, I wasn't wrong. Okay, so I'm still on point.
Too. So, I mean, honestly,
Thank
it's
you.
a toss-up for me.
I'm still right.
I think I prefer the Musafati Gunner over the Japanese hand cannon. But this is personal preference.
I'm still right. I'm still right.
Now we're going to get into some really interesting ones. The HRE one. Now, HRE, pretty much a vanilla hand cannon, but the cool thing about it is it gets Inspired Warriors and it gets 10% extra movement speed, right? Now, Inspired Warriors is an amazing tech, and it's amazing because you can pre-prepare it. A lot of these things you need to do it when the fight happens, like the Con Zero, and you need to have a Khan's Hunter nearby with good positioning to be able to benefit from range, right? But with the HRE hand cannon, you can just buff up all of these hand cannons in one shot, and a move. It's that easy, and I really like that, the fact that it's easy to use in that sense, right? I don't think I put it above the Musafati Gunner. I still like the Musafati a little bit more. In that sense, I would probably put it up to... where is it? Right here. Oh yeah, right here. I think I put it somewhere in between this, because once you do get Inspired Warriors, you're going to get the same amount of attack as a Japanese Bannerman. It is a little bit faster. It has a little bit
Dude,
armor.
I'm on a roll.
Put it below the Japanese one. I think
Why am I
Japan
not sub to
is better
Magic? I'm
because
not logged
Bannerman
in.
buffs it
You can
much
see.
easier. So
It's incognito mode. I'm not logged in. Of
now
course,
this one was
I'm subscribed to Magic on 4 accounts because he's the GOAT.
really surprising because when I first looked at it, I
S
didn't
tier.
think there was anything special going on.
S tier.
You know, you look at its base
S
stats,
tier.
you're like, okay,
S tier.
it's
S tier.
good, right? It has a little bit of extra range, 4.5. It's 42 damage per second, which is
S
really
tier.
good, but you got to divide it in 2 because it's cost 2 pop, right? So it's 2105, but still very good unit. The weird thing was when I buffed it up with all the inspired warriors, when I gave it this tech and I used it, it did exceptionally well, much better than the HRE one, and it was just kind of weird to see like in actual practical testing. And when you're not looking at just the numbers alone, the Order of the Dragon hand cannon actually performed exceptionally well, and I really liked it.
S tier.
No,
With
I was
inspired
conflicted.
warriors.
I mean, I definitely think this is an S tier. If you guys are playing Order of the Dragon, definitely test it out with Inspired Warriors. It just does so well, and you'll be very surprised with the results.
I haven't
I
missed
personally
one.
was myself, right? So I don't think I put it above the
Holy
Roost one.
shit!
Between these two, it's kind of close.
I have no, no.
China-
It's not. China is more OP. Don't move it. Don't move it, dude. You missed the Japanese? No, I didn't. I said B. No. I said A or B tier, but I forgot he's including all the text at all time. I did not. Stop right now.
A little bit more for its range, and I kind of have mixed feelings on this, but I do like. I mean, I like simplicity. Even when you talk about inspired warriors, right? Like you might not be able to get every single hand cannon inspired, because games are really fast paced.
Bannerman ain't a tech, and a prelate is. Shut your mouth.
Especially when you get to the higher levels. So for that reason, I'm going to put it below the Chinese one, but I think it definitely deserves the top spot right there. And then we're going to go to English. English gets Network of Citadels, 30% extra attack speed. In my opinion, it's excellent, right? It's just 1.71. You can look at it as DPS per cost. It's better than a generic hand cannon. But I don't think it's quite as good as these other ones right here. And
wait, he's talking about English one? English one, oof, that's a hard one. 30% attack speed.
But I don't think it's quite as good as these other ones right here. And to double check, let's just compare it. Like, let's take the English one and let's compare it to the HRE one. So we're gonna find Order of the Dragon right here.
I don't know where English one is.
You can see that if we're looking at just raw damage in terms of attack, the HRE one wins. But when we look at DPS, the English one comes out on top because of the 30% attack speed. And also Network of Citadels is way easier to use, right? So I guess if we're looking at it in this perspective, and if we put HRE in the A tier, and you look at it, I think the English one is just not significantly, but quite a bit better. So I'm going to put the English one above the HRE one right here. It does have a little bit less speed, but it's just so easy to get this off, right, with Network of Citadels. So yeah, I'm going to put the English one in the A tier, right below HRE, I think. Now we're going to go to Ayubits. I told you this one has the highest attack in the game, but you need Mamluk's Bravery. D tier. This is kind of a weird tech because
D tier.
It only works if you kill a unit. So let's say that 10 hand cannons kill one unit.
D tier.
Then only one of them is going to get benefit from Mamluk's
and it's for
Bravery.
10 seconds,
However,
bro. Who cares?
Mamluk's Bravery is a really good tech. So for that reason, I mean, I'm going to put it.
No, don't.
In the B.
No. What?
Personally, to be honest with you, for I would put the cost higher than these,
magic. God. What have we done? No, then not two mistakes. No, I was right about Japanese. I said A or B, but then I said B, but it was A. This one, magic is wrong. See? This one, magic is wrong.
I think these measly stats are going to be that influential in the game. I prefer cost, actually, to be honest with you, and I'm making a last-minute change. I'm going to put these ones...
No, bro. No. Abbasid is not... That's crazy. Nah. 15% HP, and they got 2/2 armor? Nah.
Cheaper hand cannons in B tier.
Dude, these ones no, stop. Magic, you did not. No, stop. Wrong.
These ones have some good stats, but overall, I think cost still wins out in my bets. Now, Mongols, this is an interesting one because you get extra speed with Yam. You get Con 0, which is going to give you 50% extra attack speed, and you can get this to last like 13 seconds or so, right? So it's very useful in these big fights. Yeah. And then you get extra range with the Khan's Hunter. And
finally enough, Mongol hand cannoneer S tier.
This is huge because
easy
this has
S-tier.
Almost the same range as a Chinese hand cannon.
No, it's not almost the same. It's the same range as Chinese hand cannoneer. It's the same range because Counter gives you 1.5 range on Imperial.
Chinese hand cannon we put in the S mostly because of its range, 5.5.
S-tier.
But this one has a better performing hand cannon in terms of overall damage. So
and he has
where would we put this?
S
I think we're going to put this up
above
all the
China.
way in the A tier as well.
What?
Now this one requires micromanagement.
Oh, I forgot Magic hates Mongols. That's true. I forgot. Oh my god, he hates Mongol. Listen up. Listen to me very carefully, okay? Listen to me very carefully. No, stop with the chair. Chinese hand cannoneers have 1.5 extra range and either attack speed, movement speed, or HP. Mongol has Yam Network, which is 15% movement speed, and you don't need shit for it. It has also 1.5 extra range with Counter. It has same range as Chinese hand cannoneer. And Khan gives it attack speed by 50% increase for 13 seconds. How the fuck is it A tier? What? They're better than Chinese one. It should be here. And Kurultai, that's true. That's true. And Kurultai too. It's literally, bro, Mongol hand cannoneer, I'm not even joking. It's broken. It's crazy good.
So it's a little bit tougher to get off. But if you are able to get this off, I think it's definitely better than the HRE one. Especially with the Khan's utility and the range. I also think it's better than the English one too, because you're not you don't have to be situated under a tower or defenses to be able to benefit from this. I would put this a little higher up. I would think I would take the Japanese and the Musafati over it.
No, stop.
And let's go on to the Ottoman Janissary.
S tier.
Now this one is very strange compared to the rest of them because it has this bonus.
I'm muting it. S tier. S tier. S tier. S tier. S tier.
It can also repair siege, but it does take additional damage from archers, and it does get movement speed from Meter, right? So this was a tough one, but honestly, like let's unhide most of these right here.
Bro, don't put it in B tier.
Right? If we're looking at DPS per cost, and we're going to sort them by best to worst, so let's sort right here. Sorry, the other way around, Z to A. Okay, you can see the Ottoman ones right there at the almost at the very top. I think it's better than.
Bro, look where Mongol is. It's right there. Look at Mongol damage per second, it's 24! And it doesn't even include Kurultai.
In terms of DPS per cost, because we're going to talk about this next. It's also better than the JD one DPS per cost, because this one doesn't... You just need a mentor, whereas the JD one...
We were on such a good streak, and Magic ruined
time it very well, right? It's not as good as the Rus one, but I would say this is almost second place in terms of DPS per cost. It's not a very good pop efficient unit because it doesn't do as much raw damage per second. If you look at raw damage per second and we filter this from Z to A, it's probably at the bottom, right?
Listen, if you don't think the Ottoman Janissaries don't do enough damage per second, I would suggest you run some cavalry into them. And then you're going to change your mind like that.
It is at the bottom. It's the bottom in terms of DPS, just general raw DPS, but in terms of DPS per cost, it's pretty good. So I think in the early to mid Imperial Age, it's actually going to perform very, very well. And for that reason, I'm going to put in the A tier. I think this is really good also in a current meta where cavalry units are being used so much. But yeah, I definitely put this in the A tier. Now the Delhi one is interesting because like let's put damage per second as our top filter. Oh, Order of the Dragon. Once again, this is a 2-pop unit, so we're going to get rid of that. And if you look at it, once you get rid of the Order of the Dragon, the Delhi one is actually the highest damage per second.
Bro, Delhi one sucks ass, bro. It sucks ass cheeks.
Hand cannons, rather. But it's hard to get because you need to get Tower of Victory, which a lot of people are not getting.
Nobody's getting that.
And Zeal is a iffy technology because you're only going to buff the attack speed if your units are being healed, right?
Right,
so if
it's
if
useless.
Your unit's not being healed, you're not going to get this extra 50%
C tier
attack speed. But it's still very useful, and I really like Force March because these are expensive units, as I said. So if you're losing a fight, you want to just jet out of there, right? So I think this extra 100% speed is very useful. Just run away your hand cannons if you're if you're in harm's way. So I think this is a good kit, and I would personally put it, I think, in the A tier. I think I would put it above even these cost based units right here. Personally, if it were me, I would move this one a little bit lower down because this is a landmark no one's using. I think it's probably one of the worst.
But this one is also the landmark no one's using. Magic!
Hand cannons, so I'm going to move that a little bit down. And I think that concludes our segment on the best hand cannon. I think I got this right. Let me know if you guys disagree. Let me know if you have any questions. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. I might be a little bit delayed on the next video. Big shout out to, there's going to be a Denver LAN tournament, which I'm going to be attending.
Big shout out to...
So there's a lot of good players there. It's a big event from Rising Empire, so make sure you guys stay tuned. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.
Wait, is Magic going to be there? Because if he's going to be there, I'm going to fly there just to shake his hand. I'll fly back.
Let me know if you have any questions.
Okay. Correct. I'm not going to rank them in order, whatever. Correct. This is S tier easily. This is S tier easily. A tier, A tier, A tier, A tier. This is B tier. This is C tier. This probably this probably B tier. This C tier. This C tier. This is D tier. That's it. Fixed. Boom. Right there. Right there, boy. IamMagic 1, bro. IamMagic 1 is useless. It's like you gotta kill a unit and the buff lasts 10 seconds. Like, what? If you play IamMagic, you make Desert Raiders in the late game. But anyway, as always, I fucking love Magic's videos. Shout out to Magic, the fucking GOAT. I hope he keeps making more of these so I can watch more of these and react to more of these. And by the way, just letting you guys know, I linked it in the chat for everybody. Go subscribe, go like the video. I already subscribed and liked on my main account. Again, I'm not signed in. But just so you guys know, if someone's like, Beasty's stealing Magic's content, I talk with Magic. He says he loves when I watch his videos and all that. So don't worry about it. If at any point he says, yo, don't watch my videos on the stream anymore, I will not. But he is all good with it. So if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Magic, you and I are going towards the right path. We started off rough, right? Then it was rough again. Now we're moving into the right direction, but you have strayed off the path towards the end of the video. You almost nailed it, though. You kind of, at the end, you tripped up. But that's why there's going to be a next one. So, yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much again. Check Magic's YouTube channel as well. Twitch gamers or live viewers, let's keep going.